Party's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minutes!
Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Bat Minutes and Robin. This is the podcast where, on second thought, we're much too old to talk about every minute of Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin.
We probably are.
But we're gonna do it anyway. I'm one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
I am your other host. I smelt it and therefore dealt it. I am John Parker.
This is one of those. The next couple of minutes really are like, in terms of working out the plotting of where people are and why things are happening, is like it like. Many people criticize Batman and Robin for many reasons, and like this is a legitimate complaint of like incompetently structured. And we'll get to it.
Breaking these 3 minutes this week down, I'm confused.
Yes, yeah. But anyway, to help us break down these minutes, we have all the way from Speakeasily Hour Minutes. It is Desmond Miller.
Hey,
Whoop,
hey, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. Also known as Shecky Davis Jr. I'm only 1/3 of that comedy trio with Odessa Lil and Klingon Vanna White. It's great to be here. I was on a couple movies ago.
I think it was like one movie ago. It was just like near the end of
but it was just that long ago. It was like ages.
Yeah, when you do it every minute, it takes a long time. So
you don't have to tell us.
Yeah.
I've had people like getting back to them like the next season, and they're just like, "Oh, I thought you just forgot about me." And it's like, "No, it just takes that long to get back to now." It's like, here's your minutes. It's like, "Oh, minute 100. Oh, it must be nearly done." No, we're not nearly done.
Not nearly.
These are goddamn long movies.
Could you imagine if you were doing like any of those Marvel movies? Oof.
I think there are guys doing those Marvel movies, but I think they alternate hosts and stuff because it's just like it's too much.
It's too much.
Yeah, you couldn't do that. You couldn't go through all of them. I mean, probably back at the start when they decided to do it, it seemed sensible, but there's been about another 40 movies.
Yeah, and there's no end in sight either, so...
Nope, not with this phase 4 and 5 and stuff. No, it's chugging along. Chugging along.
But speaking of chugging along, we are here to talk about minute 88 of Batman and Robin, and it opens with a humble brag, ends a minute later with an icy suit getting filled with swag.
Oh.
Yeah, we got in here. I don't know if you realize this, John, and I think I did mention to you in textual form, Desmond, but this minute, big minute for us, because this is the last minute of Pat Hingle in the Batman saga.
Yeah.
This is the last we ever see of that iteration of Commissioner Gordon.
That's upsetting to me. It's not exactly a dignified way to exit the franchise.
Yeah.
It was not. It was not.
There's not many ways that it could be like a worse ending for Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, I felt bad for him. There's Poison Ivy being a complete ageist at the end. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that is evil. That is. And you know what? Like, it's upsetting, but at the same time, does this Gordon deserve better? No.
I think he's deserved better from like 89 onward.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. But taking in mind what we've seen so far, is this really that much of a downgrade? I don't know.
No. If you're taking all the movies into context, no. And everything that he's been doing. I mean, I think he's had, fantastic, longevity in the movie, but it's just the way. And it's like, and I keep thinking to myself, he was like, because like he must have known that this was like a wrap for him, and so in that end, he's like, "Come back." And it's like
that's to the franchise.
Yeah, was talking about the franchise, talking about that paycheck. It's like, come on, guys.
Oh no, come back. Oh,
and did she have to dose him again? Like, why did she dose him again?
Oh,
like,
that is a big question I have. Right, hang on. Why does she do? Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But also, let me just say or ask. Right. So, is this the character from now on? Like, is he permanently dosed? Is
Yeah.
he just wandering the streets in love with Ivy for all eternity?
He's just been completely brain damaged, and
Yeah.
I hope something happens to him where he could. It's not going to be like in Austin Powers when Christian Slater gets hypnotized and like an hour later shows up with like, I brought you your orange sherbet.
No, that's what I'm picturing. I'm picturing him like a Renfield.
Ah.
Yeah, visiting her at Arkham.
Yeah.
That would actually be good if it was like, yeah, sequel times. It's like, Gordon's still under. He's been under the whole time.
Oh.
Or if they continued it in the Batman comic book.
Yeah.
Lovelorn Commissioner Gordon, all sad,
That would have been
pining
great.
over Ivy.
It would explain how she keeps getting out of Arkham. Nobody's aware, but it's him releasing her.
Yeah. But one thing though we do ask up front though, Desmond, because it's this like very divisive movie, Batman and Robin. But I know you from your own show, you over there are somewhat sort of connoisseurs of cinema in a way.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of wondering what is your opinion of Batman and Robin?
To be quite blunt, I loved it.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a step up from Batman Forever.
I mean,
We'll
did you
say
like
it's a
love it
step-
at the time? You were like walking out going, "That was great. I loved everything about it."
So I saw it 3 times in the theater. So yeah, it was funny because a lot of those times were not my own doing because when I was younger, I was like sort of I worked at a group home, so in the US, there's, group homes are like ward of the states where back in the 90s where they would, send kids who were troubled at home and stuff. And I was kind of like a peer support person. And so I would take them on these trips and we go to the movies and they constantly wanted to see Batman and Robin. And so we would just, on our outings, I would go to Batman and Robin. And so that's why because we'd get these we'd get these free tickets and stuff and they'd want to go to the movies and they just absolutely loved Batman and Robin. And so I fell in love with it as well through their enthusiasm because of just how flashy and over the top everything was in this movie. It was like completely it was just like a complete and utter like candy for the eyes and stuff. So you could sit down and watch it. And again, I'm a huge comic book fan. I've been a comic book fan for years. Started collecting comics when I was a little boy. And so to see Batman and all of its whimsy at the time was just, fantastic for me. So I didn't really I thought this was just a return to that campiness that Adam West did in it. And I actually adored it to no end. I loved it.
Hey,
I still do.
You're in good company here. I mean, Niall's not as strong as me, but I love this. I've seen it a million times, and I'm going to watch it a million times more.
I think the costumes were great. Their budget for LED was just through the roof. I loved how all the villains. Well, that's just been a staple from all the movies. The villains and their henchmen were always like costume coordinated and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just like how I know you've already talked about this minute before, but how you get like a makeshift hockey ring, like sure, okay, and just
you buy it, you roll with it, don't you?
Yeah, and I'm like, and where's he getting all this money if he's trying to steal diamonds? It's like well, who's funding this? Like what? Like, who's funding all of this electricity to keep you cold? It's like
that's an excellent question that I don't think we've really touched on too much.
Yeah, it's like
he needs
like
the
funding.
Diamonds, but he could just buy them with the money.
Yeah, he probably could. He probably could, or just like he's a scientist. I mean, I don't know. And I thought Schwarzenegger was just, and we're going to talk about that minute later. But I just the scenery he chews up. It's like fantastic. I really enjoyed this movie, and especially about this minute. This minute was how frumpy they made Ivy look.
Oh yeah,
and
they
it's
do.
Always that,
but she still, to me, looks super hot.
Yeah, but in these movies. That's the trope, You always have the frumpy woman, and it's like everyone in every movie in which you have a a female character have this transformation, they always start as this sort of frumpy, sad. It's like Cheetah in the newest Wonder Woman movie. It's like, how can we make this woman look like physically and like just convey to the audience that she's hopeless, she's ugly, blah blah blah, this and that. And it's like they literally look in the playbook. Okay, we'll put some glasses on her. Okay, we'll put her in like a cable knit sweater. Okay, we'll
tie her hair back.
Yeah, tie her hair back. It's like, come on.
One of the weird things I actually noticed this minute, because you get a big close up here of, you know, when she opens the compact to blow it in Gordon's face. I hadn't noticed it in previous minutes where she's in her Pamela Ivy guise.
Yeah.
But like the Uma Thurman has blue eyes, and they've given her brown contact lenses.
Yeah.
As if this is one of the things like, oh yeah, brown eyes not as good as blue eyes or something. It was like, is that a thing? Like, I had to go look it up because it was like, apparently, according to a poll by YouGov done recently, blue eyes are considered, in the UK at least, to be more attractive.
Yeah, probably.
And apparently brown eyes are the most like common eye color in the world. So I guess,
but we're racist, so, you know.
Yeah.
not me and you individually, I mean the country.
But it's just always a bit of an odd choice to be like, yeah, that's how you dress her down, is to give her brown eyes. It's like, people with brown eyes there are attractive people with brown eyes in the world out there, you know? It's like,
but I think they're considering it like on film, right? Blue eyes will pop more.
Yeah.
Whereas a brown eye will be less likely to pop unless you light it right, you know? So they're probably thinking that it stops you gazing into her eyes as much as you might do, you know.
I was always hoping that because she's a redhead that she had green eyes, because I always thought that red hair and green eyes, you know, I mean, I think that's a very Irish thing. I could be wrong, I don't know, but I just always thought that, like, you know, red hair, green eyes, you know, I always thought that they kind of went together. And I don't know if that's true. I'm not a geneticist, but I always thought, you know, she would look fantastic with like really beautiful jade green eyes, you know, with her bright red hair.
Well, see, I'm a redhead, but unfortunately, I don't have green eyes. Mine are hazel, so they're like a greeny brown.
Yeah,
I never got the full green.
Yeah, I do like the idea though. This is part of her, like, as Pamela Isley herself putting in brown contact lenses has been like part of the ploy, and then people afterwards been like, there's no way that's Poison Ivy. She has brown eyes. Poison Ivy doesn't have brown eyes.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, you know what? In this context, that would work because they're so in love with her. They are gazing into her eyes.
Yeah.
In any other character, that would be stupid.
It's the Superman conundrum.
Yeah.
I think there's actually like that would have been a good scene though if she didn't do anything with her eyes, and then they're kind of like, you look a bit familiar, and then when they lock eyes, and then they recognize her because they gaze into them so much, and then she blows the pheromone, and you're too late, like you're already caught in the trap.
She's got you,
or her eyes change colors.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
You know, like she's part of her hypnotizing gaze. You know, that would have been really kind of cool.
Oh,
I would have been something if she can like properly change her whole. Like, even she can, like, somehow manifest, like acne on her skin and stuff. Like, acne filled with chlorophyll.
Yeah, it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
But this brings up one question, though, to me now, because we've been debating this ever since Ivy's been introduced with these pheromones. And we've had this whole debate are they coming from, is she secreting them from her hand? Because there's usually a little pedal thing in there.
These are from her body.
They're from her, but then, so this was like, this compact is basically she's had to go and like milk herself into a compact. Like a baby bottle.
She was scraping, I was thinking she was scraping off like flecks, you know, into from her hand.
Her dandruff's in there or something. Or
into the compact.
She's going like Bane with a cheese grater to her arm or something. He's like, God damn it, just do it.
I am a proponent, I think I've brought this up before, of it coming out of her body. That makes more sense. That's more interesting, more exciting. But then the compact is confusing.
I think that also could be like, she's like, well, if people see me blowing into his face from my hand, they'll know it's Poison Ivy. So this looks more... it looks less conspicuous.
Does it?
But then it is like she's a woman holding a compact, blowing it into Commissioner Gordon's face. It's all pink smoke everywhere.
Or maybe it needs to be a much higher concentration for it to work.
Yeah.
You know, because she literally incapacitated him at the end. So he was already enthralled, and then she blew it in his face, and it was just kind of like to kind of really incapacitate him so he couldn't follow her.
Yeah, that really got him. It's like he's having a whitey, You know.
Yeah, she roofied him.
There is part of me that wonders, like, if, because when she, when he's doing the whole part, like, who are you? And she's like leaning in and stuff. I'm wondering if we're supposed to think she's going to kill him, like she's going to kiss him. And like maybe this is all part of like, yeah, but this is how it would work if this movie had like proper stakes.
Yeah.
Like,
like she was going to kill him? Oh, no.
Yeah,
like,
I
never...
like her escape plan would have been, okay, I need to get out of here. He'll look like he's having a heart attack or something. And then I'll, just when in an old kerfuffle, I'll slip out because even though she wouldn't need to do that because nobody's really watching them or anything, but it would add in a bit of more oomph of like, she killed Commissioner Gordon. Like, this Ivy woman needs to be stopped and stuff.
She didn't need to kill anybody.
Yeah.
Although, I don't think this movie has any body count whatsoever.
Everyone just gets sort of banged on the head.
There's Jason Woodrue. That's it.
Yeah. People fall off buildings and are completely fine, but whatever.
Also, Mr. Freeze's goons, actually, they didn't make that jump from in one of the car chases. So
that
they're
we
also
know
dead,
of.
so. Yeah, but I think they literally crashed into a building. So
you never know.
If you don't see a body, you know.
Yeah, it could be those guys in the next minute. Like, they're the same goons as have come out with like casts in their arms, burn marks and stuff.
Well, they're wearing like juiced up hockey gear, so whatever. Like, who knows what's underneath that stuff? Those pads.
There's some real buff boys now.
Real buff boys.
What a crop.
What a crop. One thing though I would have, again though, like, once you now have the power of hindsight and stuff, and now that I'm questioning the compact so much as well, something I would have done if Ivy did want to hide that it's her, like, and not blow the stuff out of her hand. Like, I would have upped the comedy of it and have her like pretend to have a cold or something.
Sneeze
and be going around. Yeah, go around and be like,
people.
And sneezing the pheromone at them and stuff. Like, there's comedy to be had there, and people all like they got tissues and wiping their jackets down.
Oh, this
stuff.
is a very serious minute. What are you talking about?
Yes.
But I just feel like if you're going to do it, like, you could make her look like, you could really go to town. That maybe what might have been a thing of, because Joel Schumacher does classically, by his very proud admittance, present everyone to be as beautiful as they possibly can. Yeah. And even when Pamela Isley is, frumpy, she still looks stunning. And it could be like, there could have been talk of like, oh, maybe mess up her teeth a little, or like maybe she has loads of acne, or maybe she looks really like, glistening with sweat or something like that. And they're like, no, there's none of that. She's just there. And the most she gets of like, to be fair, Uma's trying to do it where like at the end when she's walking out, she's all kind of hunched over. Yeah. She looks convincingly like a very socially awkward sort of, like a frumpy, frumpy person.
Yeah, but that's the kind of person I would be attracted to.
with her purse all like clenched up by her chin and everything. I was just like, oh, girl.
I'd be drawn to it. I'd be like, oh, hey.
It is weird because she doesn't need to do any of it, though. Like, if she just strode out completely confident, it's not as if everyone will be like, that's Poison Ivy. Like,
no one would have noticed.
But they might at least notice. They won't notice it's Ivy, but they'll notice her for later.
Well, I mean, Bruce Wayne noticed the smell.
Yes.
Is that a positive thing if you're, someone you're seducing can smell you? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, depending on what kink you're into. But, but
no kink shaming on Batman.
No. But but the smell. He was like, "Ooh, I smell something." And I'm thinking, you are the worst Batman ever.
We know that they know the smell because, like, in Freeze's hideout, she wafted it through the air vent, and they're like, "It's Poison Ivy." Like, instantly, they knew it was her. But, so he's kind of like, "What? You think he'd be a bit more like, she's here. I need to go and deal with this straight away."
But he is looking, to be fair, like, and he can't see her because she's in disguise and she's leaving.
Maybe she's behind that woman with the glasses. I don't know.
Or maybe that was an appetizer or an hors d'oeuvre that smelled surprisingly like Poison Ivy.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
it's weird though, because it seems to only go to Gordon and Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
well. And no one else is affected by it.
And can no one else see this like pink and like purple bluish thing float wafting in the air? It's like it had a visual cue. It's like, who farted? Like,
in that minute with the what came through the vents, we were like, can't they see the pink mist, or is that for our benefit?
I think it's for the viewer. Yeah.
Yeah, so it would be a dead giveaway. Like, so many times where Batman, like, was it last week we were talking about where he's like, she is controlling us somehow. Like, it's like, dude, you see the pink smoke going in your goddamn face, but what else is it gonna be?
It's gotta be for the viewer. It really has to be.
That's again adding to the cartooniness of the whole thing.
Yes. I keep imagining, I think I brought this up previously, I keep imagining people to sniff it and, float towards the smell like in a cartoon.
Yeah.
It's like freaking Tom and Jerry when someone's like cooking a roast in the oven.
This is basically Tom and Jerry.
Or the pie on the windowsill.
Yeah, it's just, ooh. Wafting. That's basically what Gordon's doing here. Look at him. Jesus Christ.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I love the way he's just bragging as well about being the police commissioner. It's like, nobody cares, dude. Just hand the keys over.
That's well, her question should have been, like, what's a commissioner?
and what was with that giant-ass skeleton key that he handed her? I was like, why isn't it just a normal key? Like, why do you have this specialty key to get on the roof of... Like, how old is this building?
Yes. Excellent question.
Because we know, too, from in the past, like, Chase Meridian got up to the bat signal just by herself.
Yeah, so, no key, nothing.
Although at the same time, in that minute, I think we probably did clock it at the time, she's up there in her nightie, and then Gordon shows up in his pajamas mere minutes later. They'd be like, someone turned on the signal. It's like, did Chase Meridian... Did she do this to Gordon as well? Or was he just like, well, I'm the commissioner of the police, you understand, Dr. Meridian? And she's like, well, I would like to see that bat signal, commissioner.
Well, like, maybe it's just because, like, she's a doctor and she had doctor-patient privilege. I don't know.
I'm thinking that's where, like, Gordon, this is him in a post. He had a wife in the first movie we briefly saw. She never appeared again. I'm thinking this is him sowing his wild oats years later. Like,
she's divorced him.
And it's just like the bat signal is this is his, Makeout Creek. He's just like, oh, well, why don't we go up and see that? I'll go up and show you the bat signal.
Wait. So do you think, okay. From your logic, then, I'm going to try to unravel this. From your logic, then, Commissioner Gordon has a history of bringing women up to show them the bat signal as a thing to get laid. Is that what we're doing now?
Gets them hot,
And so the whole thing about him is like, where are you going? Who are you? Don't. We're supposed to make out on the roof. And that's why she says, you're much too old for me. Is this his? Oh my God. So the women in Gotham know that this is what he does. Oh. And so she's like, no, I'm not going to. Because I'm no Chase Meridian. I'm just going to go.
It's well known. Oh my God! Yeah.
Wow.
That's how she might. Like, the word is spread amongst the women of Gotham. Like, you want to get to the bat signal, Commissioner Gordon. All you have to do is flirt with him, and he'll take you up there naturally.
Yeah, you gotta.
That's why he's divorced. Like, that's what happened. Turns out, as soon as Harvey Dent. Oh, it wasn't even Harvey Dent. As soon as he went in the end of '89, like, he gave us a signal. He's like, oh, I can use this thing.
He's having affairs and everything.
I'm gonna get laid on the roof of GCPD.
It's like, is anyone else allowed that key, Jim? No, it's just me. Me all the time.
And that's why he's special.
Yeah, and that's why he became too problematic, and that's why they exited him out of the we don't see him anymore. Sorry, Jim, you're too problematic now.
We've uncovered the truth.
But we'll say, though, this compact, this is a reference to something in the comics.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that. Oh,
yeah, it's from Poison Ivy's second ever appearance in Detective Comics 183. And, it's something. Like, it's back in the, 1966, the height of the Silver Age of comics. So naturally, it's a completely ridiculous storyline.
Oh, I imagine it's absolutely terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. The front cover is because the TV show, the Adam West TV show, had just come out. And so the front cover is Robin going like, this is the hotline, Batman. We got to go right now. And Batman with his feet up, watching the Batman TV show, eating popcorn and drinking soda, going like, not tonight, kid. I got to watch myself on the television. But the story, it actually directly continues on from Poison Ivy's previous appearance, which was in the previous issue. That was her first ever appearance. And it opens with Bruce he's still got the fever for Poison Ivy. And a weird scene where Dick is just like, he's still thinking about Poison Ivy. I'll I'll put an ice cube on his neck. That'll cool him down.
Oh yeah, that old trick. Yeah, apparently.
He goes over, just holds an ice cube near him, and starts sizzling in his hand. Such is his horniness for poison ivy.
It works.
I cook fried eggs on my stomach when I'm horny. You know.
There you go.
And that's the thing. Like, if you were that hot, you definitely need to go to a doctor. This isn't so much like, hey, I'm pretty sure you can't survive at temperature.
Hey,
that
Niall,
high,
that's what happens when you're as hot as me. You know, it's a burden I live with every day.
Yeah. Don't need a heater in your flat.
But yeah. So Poison Ivy then has made a compact mirror for Batman in like prison workshop or whatever, and somehow she sends it to the Batcave. Like, she's like, I sent this as a present, and she's like, oh no, this is to thank you for sending me to prison, Batman. This is to get me on the straight and narrow on the road towards rehabilitation.
Because because everyone knows like the P.O. box for Batman in the Batcave.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that the symbol of the symbol of gratitude is a leaf-shaped compact.
Yeah. And so
It's
yeah,
on
Batman
brand.
gets this.
Yeah.
He's instantly like, oh, this is fantastic. Like, this young Poison Ivy woman, she's changing. And Dick says, into what? Poisonous mushrooms?
Oh.
Which I thought was a good comeback.
Ba-dum-bum.
It's very notable in these early stories, too. It's like the exact opposite of Chris O'Donnell Robin, because it's supposed to be like, oh, Robin's like a little kid. And so where Batman has the horn for Poison Ivy, he's just like, what's the matter with you, man? Like, he's pre-adolescent.
Oh, so he doesn't get it at all. Okay.
Nope.
Yeah. He doesn't understand. He's just like, why would you want to be thinking about a girl? Like, what's your problem?
Girls stink.
Like, yeah, basically, he just has no idea why Batman's
Girls
so
are
enamored by
yucky.
him. And there's a great bit then because Batman opens the mirror, and somehow it never explains any of this. He sees Poison Ivy's face in it, and she's just doing like a siren's call to him of like, "Come, break me out of prison." And there's a great line. There's a great panel where she says, "I'll be getting out of prison sooner or later. Why don't you make it sooner?" Sooner. And it cuts back to Batman standing with the mirror going, sooner. And then Robin comes in behind him and says, knock that off, Big Daddy. Stop looking at that mirror. You're not going to win any beauty contests.
Big Daddy.
What a little bastard.
Yeah. This is where we like snap Batman out of it in terms of like, what did you say? I'm Bruce Wayne, kid.
How of the time as well, the dialogue.
Oh, the Big Daddy's in it throughout the whole issue. It's magnificent. But yeah, Batman's constantly throughout the story, thinking about Poison Ivy, and it's the mirror that seems to have the power. Like, it's getting to him somehow. Then when Robin gets really viciously beaten up when they're out in patrol, that kind of snaps him out of it. He realizes something wrong, smashes the mirror. But at this point, Ivy threatens suicide in prison.
Ooh.
So she's like, I want to speak to Batman.
Serious.
And and he goes down there, and then she uses him because she has like her claws in him basically, and he's enamored by her to help her break out, while also claiming that she has explosive hair. Like, she tears strands out of her head and says these are explosives, and it turns out they are. She like flings hair at people, and they blow up.
Little known power.
yeah, never been utilized before or since. But it could have come in handy when she was breaking freeze out of Arkham.
Yeah, like Grant Morrison, get on that.
Yeah. But like those big, like the beehive bonnet things she's got on her head in this movie, if one of them was an actual bomb, she just
or
detached.
A missile or something. I always thought they were like little missile-y.
Yeah, just bends down, fires it at somebody when she's pissed off. But yeah, she ended up taking Batman back to her hideout, and he's like, he's completely under her spell, but he's like trying to resist it within. So like he goes on hunger strike and stuff. Like, she's, oh, Batman, you have to eat. And he's just like, he just lies there comatose, like refuses to do anything because he can't break out of her spell, but he won't, if he doesn't have to eat, he won't. It gets a bit sort of like, what the hell's even going on here? But it turns out she also has a pet jaguar. And even when the pet jaguar comes up to him, Batman just still lions, just stares at it and stuff. It turns very, very strange. But, well, I say turns strange. It's been strange since the fucking word go.
Pretty weird.
Yeah, but of course at the end, Robin breaks in, helps Batman, and they send her back to prison.
Hey.
And somehow they're watching a security camera of her cell, And she's just looking in the camera going, I know you're watching me, Batman, and I'm going to get you someday.
Oh, and then does Batman go, someday?
Those Golden Age comics were a hoot, though. Like, you can't... they were bananas, so...
Yeah. And this kind of captures that vibe. It doesn't go the whole hog, but, it's most of the way there in the crazy.
I think he went as far as they would allow him to go, technically. Yeah. In my opinion, I think he went as far as they allowed him to go.
But it's like those things in that comic, like Ivy keeps Batman on a leash and calls him pets all the time.
Wow.
And that's getting into like, well, all this kinky stuff with Bane going on with her, and then him is like, well, it's there. Like it's Joel Schumacher's like, I'm just adapting the material, man. Yeah. Like you can't blame me if it's kinky crap. Like what do you want from me?
Batman's inherently kinky. Come on.
He is.
Yeah.
I would definitely agree to that. 100%.
But when he catches this whiff of her here, if he smelt it, he dealt it, as I alluded to. But the draft describes it quite differently to what we see in the movie, and I really like this. It says, as if summoned by an inaudible call, Bruce peels away from a perplexed Julie, begins searching the crowd, a man on a quest.
That would have been much better.
Yeah, in this he kind of just goes, huh? What's that? What?
Someone fought it? Who fought it? Was that you? He's looking at her and be like, is that you?
I did have that burrito.
It's like this guy who's got a lot of things on his mind. Has to track down Mr. Freeze, has to track down Poison Ivy. Alfred's dying, has to show up for this thing. And he's doing nothing for any of them. Like,
well, I relate to this as someone with depression. When all this hits you at once, it's like...
Go to a party?
I'm not going to... go to a party. I'm not going to do anything I need to do.
To hell with this. I same way.
Yeah.
It's just like, I got a deadline tomorrow, but you know what? One more episode of Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
That'll do me.
That's me at the minute. I need to pack up the house, but, earlier today, what was I doing? I'll play some Call of Duty.
There you go.
Well, but Pat Hingle, to be fair to him, for the material he's given, he's going for it, at least, because he does have the whole, like,
it's disgusting. It's sickening.
I feel bad for him. I really feel bad for him.
It's really undignified too, because it's just that moment of like her doing like, oh, in second thoughts, you're much too old for me.
Yeah, that's too old for me. Yes, ageist. I was like, stop it. There's nothing wrong with him.
Yeah,
his overacting on that "no, I'm not" just slays me.
Yeah,
it really reminded me. It's a very Homer Simpson thing to do, though. Just like, Homer, you're hurting me. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
But again, as we've established already, we know why she said it, because he was kind of a sex predator. So
that's what it is. Yeah.
She could have been. This would have been the promising young woman moment of like, I'm going to take the guy out. But
yeah.
Are you? I was thinking really dark for a minute. I was thinking it was going to turn into like hard candy. And
it could be again. There's a little side quest she had where she's like pretending that she castrated Gordon to freak him out and stuff.
Yeah,
and she's just like, you know what? I actually don't have any time to do all this. So.
That's a dark Batman coming soon. Coming to the sequel to The Batman.
Yeah. But yeah. So I suppose now though, because we're in the final moments of Pat Hingle throughout the Batman franchise.
Yeah.
So I got up my acoustic guitar to play a tribute song.
Play about now.
I will remember.
Oh Lord!
No.
Hold on. I gotta find my lighter. Hold on.
Yeah.
But no, we're not gonna do any of that because that would be unbearable.
I was promised a serenade.
But the thing is, so Pat Hingle after this worked quite a bit. This guy was said he's just like an old workhorse actor. Like he was in 200 things his entire life. He just worked right up until the day he died, basically. After this, he was in, was it 12? Oh, no, 19 more projects, including like episodes of Dawson's Creek, Touched by an Angel, Talladega Nights, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby. He's in that. He's in just a whole bunch of like Muppets in Space. He's in something called 1,000 Acres. The thing he did immediately after this was 1,000 Acres with Michelle Pfeiffer. So kind of a reunion there, even though they never spent any time together on screen in Batman Returns. But well, it's a weird movie though, because I'd never heard of it. But it's got like young Michelle Williams, young Elizabeth Moss, a young Colin Firth.
Whoa.
and like Jennifer Jason Leigh and stuff. And it's like Michelle Pfeiffer and her sisters. And it's like, this seems like it's a really stacked cast. Like, how the hell have I not heard of this
stacked in
thing?
retrospect, though?
Maybe. But even back in the 90s, like Michelle Pfeiffer and Jennifer Jason Leigh would have been like, this is like Oscar bait kind of territory, right?
Yeah.
Jessica Lange also in it as well.
Yeah, that's top choice casting right there.
Yeah. And he's also in Shaft, of course, with Christian Bale. So at one point you could have potentially had the old Gordon and the, well, at that point, new Batman or soon to be Batman.
Oh my God.
But my favorite thing that he did afterwards, and I'll send it in the chat here, the poster for this thing, because it's.
I'm scared.
He made something called Road to Redemption.
Oh yeah, with Tom Hanks.
And that's Road to Perdition.
Oh.
Damn.
So what's this
All
one?
these roads.
Too many roads. How many roads must a man walk down?
It's something where like he apparently gambles away a load of gangsters' money with his daughter, and then they go on like a road trip.
Wait, this sounds like that movie we watched with Danny DeVito.
It probably is the same exact concept that they just
Road to Redemption. You know what? Laugh out loud funny. I mean, it could have been Road to Perdition. I mean, was it literally the same? You know, running from the mob.
That poster you sent us, Niall. That is the fakest like mock-up I've ever seen.
Oh my God! Yes, him standing. Like, what did they do to his waist through the like? It doesn't even look like it's him. Like, oh.
We're posting this in the group.
I'll post it in the group, but to describe to people what's happening in it is the cover is a woman driving a car straight towards the screen, and Pat Hingle is standing up in the seat next to her. He's wearing like a checkered short sleeve shirt, white suspenders, and jeans up to like his nipples.
Classic old man look. Yeah.
And he's throwing his arms in the air and going, "Wah!" Like it's the liveliest I've ever seen
it's
that
laugh
guy.
out loud funny, says USA Radio. So you know.
Apparently so. According to the sign behind them, it's a trip, so buckle up.
I don't know what to like. I am speechless.
Pat Hingle's Road to Perdition.
Where to stop says like Billy Graham presents. Like who the hell is Billy Graham?
Wait, the wrestler?
No.
Could be a wrestler.
No.
Superstar Billy Graham.
No. I really hope this is not a Christian movie. Because
God,
Billy Graham was an American evangelist.
Oh my God.
Is this a Christian movie?
I kind of hope it is, because that makes it funnier.
I feel now like we almost have to like. Do we have to review this movie?
Yes,
I mean, I don't. Oh my God, I think it is.
Okay, this is how we get Indra on the show.
Yes,
Indra,
Road
you
to
can come and
Redemption.
review this with a...
Road to Redemption.
I guess actually it's in the title, really, isn't it? Road to Redemption. It's like, oh, of course it's Christian.
The Billy Graham Evangelist Association. Yes,
oh my God.
It is a Christian movie.
See, that's even funnier over here, because we don't really... I don't know what it's like in Ireland, Niall, but in England, you'll know, we don't really have religious movies. Everyone I see is on like Netflix, and it's American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think over in America, it's got much more of a death grip on a lot of the public. Like even in Ireland, where it is like people are very religious there, but there's no religious movies.
Wow.
Like,
so if you look,
people just watch the Angelus every day at 6. We have to sit and listen to a bell ring and watch people pray.
Wow.
And that's for 1 minute a day. And at that minute, that's
You're
it.
done.
That's all the
Go
religion
back
you're
to
going to do.
and you do this to keep the snakes away? Is that? I mean, I don't know.
That's what keeps them away to this day.
But like if you look at all like the movie guide, there's this thing called movieguide.org, and they're giving it like 80% and like 3 out of 4 stars, and it's like funny Christian comedy. And it's like the funny Christian comedy, that's a movie ministry for the Billy Graham Evangelist Association.
We're reviewing
Oh my
it.
God. Yes.
I feel like weird though. We'll go away and watch it and come back and like, you know what? It was actually really good, and it's given me some new perspectives on life.
I mean, I
So
don't know.
everyone have a blessed day, and
I just want to stream it though because I don't really want to buy it.
Yeah, you don't want to give them any money. I mean, that's fair
Yeah,
enough.
I don't want to give them any
can you
money.
get it off a torrent site? And it's like no torrent site's going to touch this.
You never know, Yeah,
I feel like the Billy Graham, like one of those evangelical associations, they would be like, if it was pirated anywhere, they would land on you like a ton of bricks.
You can buy it at the Billy Graham bookstore.
I'd rather not.
That's annoying though, because it looks like this is the Pat Hingle starring vehicle that we've all been waiting for. His name's not on the poster. It's Billy Graham, Road to Perdition, and there's just like people idly seeing it in this like in a video shop or something would be like, is that Commissioner Gordon?
Yep.
Well, maybe in other ways you could just like pretend that that's what happened to him.
But it's so weird though, because like maybe this is a sequel, and this is him trying to redeem himself for all like the really like weird sex he had on top of Gotham City Police Department.
Well, speaking of sexy, right?
Yeah.
The draft. I can't read all of this. The draft has a huge section that's cut out of the movie here.
Yeah, it's very, very valuable stuff, I think, actually, as well.
Yeah.
It's stunning that it's gone.
I'm going to bring up a couple of bits, but it's massive. It's huge. And the next couple of minutes have bits as well.
Yeah.
But Bruce, he's horny. He's turned on. He's finding this sexy. So he goes up to Pamela instead of her sneaking off, and he goes, Dr. Isley, it was like I could feel you in the room. You're enchanting. Gorgeous. The most beautiful woman I've ever seen. If you're free this evening. And he's doing this in front of his missus. And she's like, Bruce, what are you doing?
But that needs to be there, though. That shows, because not only does that show that like how powerful she is, it also shows that even though Batman knows the scent of poison ivy, he can't help it. When he smells her, it's just like, I need to go over and talk. Like
any man could. Yeah. No man can resist.
Julie even says to him, like, you're not really propositioning another woman right in front of me, are you? And his response is really rude. He just goes, define propositioning.
Wow.
Although, like, you can imagine Clooney, like, nailing it.
Yeah, that'd be a good Clooney line, so leave it in again.
I wonder if it was cut out, though, because this movie stacked with great actors, but Elle Macpherson isn't one of them. So I'm wondering if it was just, like, she couldn't do, like, her acting wasn't great. Oh,
come on, these are easy lines.
I don't know, because she ends up storming away from Bruce. So it feels like that would be a big moment, but like maybe they're like, she's not quite there. But I don't know, man. It feels very odd that they cut that out. It's such a big thing of like, not only because at the end of it, it's like, like she storms off, and all the reporters are like seeing that Bruce Wayne propositioned another woman in front of his girlfriend.
Yeah, but
that's gonna make a big impact on his friggin' PR. And
which
stuff.
is fine though. Remember, Bruce Wayne has to play up that Playboy image.
Yeah, it'd actually be a weird benefit to him. It's like, that's my whole feckless Playboy.
Well, that's what Pamela actually says that in this bit, and I love this. She goes, maybe your witless Playboy persona works on every bimbo du jour, but I am not the least bit titillated by your attentions. So back off, or I'll have you in court quicker than you can spell sexual harassment. Got me? It's like, oh, God. She's seducing him, but she doesn't actually want him.
There you go.
That's it. Yeah. I do wonder why it was cut, because it feels, unless it was because they're like, oh no, we said in an earlier scene they recognized the scent of poison ivy, so him now not knowing what's going
just
on
take that
would
bit
be
out
weird.
Where he recognizes it.
And also, I don't know, maybe it's because like it seemed to indicate earlier that, when she was like, grinding on top of Batman on the ice cream flakes or whatever it was. On the the hundreds and thousands as they call them over here. Like when she was going in for a kiss and he was like, oh no you don't. And it seemed as if Batman had like he was master of his domain again.
Yeah, but he's taken so much of the pheromone.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's an addict.
I guess so, because maybe it never comes up again. But then I suppose it would add in more danger to know that she still does have this level of influence over Batman going into the climax of the movie.
Yeah.
Because it does kind of feel now, he's like, oh no, he's over it. Like he's, the movie as is, it seems like he is like, oh yeah, I realized she was trying to seduce me.
And he's figured it out, and now it doesn't affect him that much. Like a little bit, but not to the same degree. Because in this, I mean, it's straight up he's wooed by it. Because Julie says, make a choice, Bruce, her or me. And he just goes, well, her.
I mean, of course, that's what able-bodied, red-blooded American, Gothamite would do when, faced with, Ivy's pheromones.
Well, I can't blame him too much. It's Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. I mean, oh, Jesus.
yeah. That's, But yeah, that's just baffling thing they cut out of the movie. Don't know. It seems like that would have been a big scene, but it's just like let's slice it out. Don't need it, and it's just like because then they re-edited a lot of things around this whole section, so it just feels like you could have had Bruce Wayne not be at this party at all. It feels now that we could have just had him not be at it, but we already shot a scene with him talking to Alfred where he's in the tux, so it wouldn't make any sense. Plus, we have to show he's doing something with his night. I guess he can't just be dicking around.
Just watching TV if it's Michael Keaton's Batman.
Yeah. Or the Adam West Batman TV show, judging
or maybe it was just like a passing, again, when you put it like this, and you're kind of like exposing a lot of the things around this scene, it doesn't really seem like this scene fits anymore.
No.
And I totally never really thought about that. That the scene just doesn't really fit anymore. And, my, young brain was like, oh, Batman's so cool. So I didn't really think about it.
Structurally, it is like it's just a bit all over the place. Like, but yeah, I mean, that is the end of this minute 88. We do cut very briefly to Mr. Freeze's arm as he loads up in more diamonds.
Yeah,
but
it's turbo time.
Yes.
He's joining the Turbo Squad.
It's a Power Ranger.
Yeah, it's very Power Rangers, this whole movie.
Yep.
Yeah, but we'll be talking a lot about Arnie next minute, so shall we move on to there, or does anyone have any other notes for this minute in particular?
Nope.
It's funny because of all the minutes that I reviewed, it starts small, then it gets a little bit more, but then that last minute you gave me, whew.
Yeah, holy crap.
Yeah. But we'll actually, before we do go, I will say though, because this, again, last minute of Pat Hingle, we'll just note that, lived for 12 more years after this, and then he died, tragically, in 2009, on January 3rd, of something called myelodysplastic syndrome.
Oh, what's that?
Apparently it's kind of like a blood cancer. It's something that, it's not like a full-blown cancer, but it stops his blood from producing healthy cells.
Oh, wow.
It's linked to Hodgkin's and things like that. It's like, so it's it's a good kind of a blood cancer, I think. But yeah, I mean, the guy, he lived, he was in these movies, and then he lived a life. Like, he's married the same woman since 1979.
Awesome.
Up until his death, he had a bunch of kids. He freaking worked every goddamn day. He was like, his Pat Hingle did the job. We wish he was given better things to do in these movies, but tragically now, his watch has ended.
We salute you, Pat Hingle. You are the true hero of the franchise. You and Michael Goff.
Because we've been with this guy 4 years now, the show, so he's been there on and off for us.
In recording time, it's been longer than 4 years. We've been recording for 4.5 years.
Yeah. So this is, Michael Keaton's can come and go, but Pat Hingle, he was there. He stuck around.
Yep.
Pat Hingle, he was there. Yeah.
So everyone pour one out for Pat Hingle.
Yes, go on your roof and pour one out.
I suppose in the tradition of Batman as well, it's got to be a Colt 45, right? Because that's what was advertised by Billy D.
Billy D. Williams.
Yeah.
Or the Diet Coke from Michael Goff's.
Okay, if you're
Alfred's
a drinker,
time.
pour a Colt 45. If you're not a drinker, pour out a Diet Coke. There you go.
Either works.
Yeah. And we will head off into the dark, dark night. Desmond, would you like to promote anything or tell people where you can be found online?
Oh, yeah. You can definitely take a look at our stuff at speakeasily.tv. And you can look at any podcast aggregate will have Speak Easily Hour Minute podcast, as well as our new show, which is Speak Easily versus the 80s.
Hey.
So it's an 80s trash cinema podcast that we do. Fantastic. Please take a look. We just had a new one in which we reviewed Critters 2, which was much better than the first one. You talk about a sequel being better than the original. Critters 2, just hands and feet above Critters 1. So please check us out. We have a whole bunch of other movies that we've reviewed. I love you guys, and I love being here.
And check out the podcast, everyone, and, come and speak to us as usual on Facebook at the Bat Minute Listeners Cave, Twitter at Bat Minute, Instagram, The Bat Minute, And why don't you look us up on Patreon? Sleepy Charlie Media is our network, and for just a couple of dollars you can get loads of wonderful extra bonus delights, and you help us do this show. So do that, and join us again on Wednesday for more Bat Minute and Robin.
Next time, isn't that stealing? Green finger discount, dude. The maniacal king Minos makes ready his endgame, while a bark-raving beldam waxes biblical by the bat signal. But as this efflorescent lunatic and her lumbering luchador get literally light-fingered, which antecedent co-ed can no longer let her uncle's clandestine secrets linger? We get hack-happy with a hopeful heroine on Wednesday, Batmites. Same bat pod, different Bat Minute.
We'll be back.
back.